Now. Now, you've got to like taking risks, really, if you're going to set up your own business, especially when the economy is behaving unpredictably. Basically, you have to be pretty convinced that your ideas are good enough to shine through and actually thrive. Well, last week, the Startups 100 list was revealed. It's a rundown of the best new businesses in the UK, and amongst them were 4 Welsh firms. Well, joining us now is Ian Wallis from startups.co.uk, the company which compiled the list. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Sarah. It's Ian Wallis, by the way.
Did I not say that? It's my brain and
Willis,
mouth.
that's fine. Don't worry.
Brain and mouth not working together. Sorry, Ian. So tell us about startups.co.uk. How long have you been going and what do you do?
Sure. It's a website support service for people that are thinking about starting a business or in the process of starting or running or growing a business. We've been going for the last 15 years and we provide kind of as comprehensive as possible an array of guides, advice guides, tips, inspiration through profiles and news for people that are starting a business.
Whatever sector they're in, is it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's from people that are starting up at home, tradespeople. It could be a franchise, buying a franchise, or it could be a large technology company that's looking to raise 2 million. So it really is the full gamut.
Right, and do you help them raise money then as well?
No,
you give them just the advice. You don't
We'd
help
like
them do
to think we help them.
crowdfunding or something like that.
We don't get involved in promoting crowdfunded companies. We report when they have raised finance. So we'll profile companies, so that will promote them, which gives them more of a profile. But no, we don't help them directly in terms of raising the finance. OK,
well, we have 2 of the people that are on your list of top 100 with us, Bethan Stevens and Gary Bassett. Hello to both of you.
Hello. Hi, Sarah.
Now, I'm going to make you both blush now to find out exactly what is wonderful about your businesses that got you on there. So, Ian, how do you compile this list? How do you get on there?
Sure. It's in terms of the methodology, we look at hundreds and hundreds of companies and we solicit entries from them. So we get full entries with a lot of detail where they provide their financials, the company's background, the year that they started. They have to have started in the last 3 years. We look at the number of employees they have, whether they've raised finance. So it's a number of things that we look at. And then once we have all that information, we score them. So
right.
Our methodology is based on a reality rather than projected future success.
It's what they're actually doing.
Exactly. So, for example, turnover, net profit, employee numbers, they're important for us. They get a higher weighting when it comes to the scoring that we use.
OK, do you have to have a certain turnover to be able to be in your list?
Not to enter. There's no threshold that we require. We're also looking for innovative companies. So some of those companies are very early stages and may have raised finance, which is an indicator of future success. So we do score that too. But it helps if they've got a reasonable turnover. The average for this year, for those that disclosed their turnover, was almost 1 million.
Right. OK. That's a lot in 3 years, isn't it? OK, well, let's hear from our lovely Welsh examples. Bethan Stevens, you have a restaurant, don't you, at Menebridge on Anglesey? And Gary Bassett, you run a company called A-Star Sports in Flintshire. What do you do? What does A-Star Sports do?
We're a private sports coaching company, so we're actually running on the franchise model. And we take it perhaps where we're different to others who do sports coaching. We're not selling to schools, which is perhaps the market which is chased a lot at the moment. We work direct with families and guardians in the communities, so we sell weekly classes, birthday parties and holiday clubs. So I've just dashed from a holiday club today with a relatively peaceful 40-odd children running around when I left.
So that's what marks you out as different. Beth, there's an awful lot of restaurants around. What's special about yours?
I think it's more to do with the concept that we've got going here in Menebridge in the restaurant. It's a menu surprise that we provide. So we source the most local produce that we can get, and we produce a menu on the day. It consists of about 6 courses, and it's if any of the customers have special dietary requirements, we work around those. So
okay. So when someone turns up, they don't know what they're going to get?
No, they don't.
And
No,
people
they
like that, do they? Because I thought people were more conservative. I thought people liked to know what they were going to get when they went to a restaurant.
Well, I suppose most restaurants, you choose from a menu, but that's where we're different, and I think that's part of our success, really, is that we offer something different, a different eating experience, and, we work a lot on the food, so there's a lot of thought that goes into the menu, so the menu's decided for them, and it's a culinary journey, really, on the evening.
Okay. And in a way, Gary, you're doing a similar thing in your field, aren't you, in that you're offering something different from what most people are offering?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are quite a few outside of school hour activities, but they tend to be single sport or one activity. We've actually got a programme that's been heavily researched and reviewed by experts in child behaviour and management, as well as sports people. So we come from a more engagement and behaviour perspective. And we've developed a programme that children can come and develop with us from the age of 2 right through to the end of primary school. Rather than a sort of 12-week programme or a 15-week programme with one sport.
Is that expensive? Must be, isn't it?
No, the way we've designed it is so that it's very, very affordable for parents. We work with high-quality coaching with between sort of 10 and a dozen, maybe up to a maximum of 14 children, depending on the venue. And, I mean, it's different around the country. We've now got businesses in England, Scotland, Wales, obviously, and hopefully soon Northern Ireland. But I mean, if I take my local business, I still run one of the franchises. A weekly class, which is an hour with that small group, you're talking £5.50 a week.
Right.
And birthday parties, we're probably less than most magicians and things like that.
Right. Okay. Because I mean, that's the thing. We all know, don't we, that on average we've all got less money than we had 5 years ago. So it's quite a brave kind of venture for you, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, I gave up my corporate life a number of years ago. So
what were you doing before? Come on, we're nosy.
I was a human resources director. I actually worked for Lego for sort of 9-10 years, and companies like Johnson & Johnson and AMEC. So total departure. I did do a lot of corporate coaching, but...
Yeah, and Bethan, when money's tight, you might not go out so much to restaurants, and you certainly might not go to one where you're not sure what you're going to get. Have you found it a struggle to find enough people in your area with money in their pocket?
Well, we are quite small. I mean, it's quite an intimate restaurant, but we don't struggle for customers, to be honest with you. We're lucky enough to have a waiting list on most weekends. So I think people are, maybe they've got a bit less money, but they're a lot more careful with it.
Okay.
And that's where we come in, really, because if you're consistent, people will return time and time again.
How much does a 6-course menu with you cost then?
It's £43.70 per head.
43. That's without wine, is it?
That's without the wine, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
and how many tables have you got?
We have 7 tables in total, so it's normally about 18 covers we do of an evening.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Ian, listening to Bethan and Gary talking about their businesses, it's interesting, isn't it? The threads that go between them. They're both doing something a wee bit different. They're both offering quality service, and that is interesting because some people might think that the way you survive when the economy is fragile is to just make it cheaper.
I think it works at both ends of the scale. So there are lots of people that are looking to find cheaper options, but the quality often wins out. So people are, they'll as Bethan said, they'll save their money up for an experience. So I guess with Sosban, it's a culinary experience. And if you're looking for coaching for your children, quality is highly important. So I think ultimately people will pay for quality.
Okay, let's look to the future with you both. I mean, Gary, what's your plan? You said already this is a franchise, so do you want to spin it out further or sell the concept?
Yeah, I mean,
do something else? What are you going to do?
That's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we've tried to, and this is why we liked it when we first came across startups, in that it wasn't purely about just who's got the biggest turnover, in that we knew in the first few years that wouldn't be us. It was all about building an infrastructure to grow. We've mapped the whole country and know there are potentially 240 territories based on the number of children in our age range and wealth factors and things like that. So we've got sort of a fairly modest couple of years of growth in terms of the number of franchises to get the snowball rolling.
Now let's just check that. If you're going to go into all those territories, as you called them, would there be a risk to you, or because of the way you franchise it, there wouldn't be a risk for you?
I mean, you would hope. I mean, and this is partly why we went down the British Franchise Association route was both protection for and to show we're ethical to potential franchisees. And for us, it was franchising was a route where we could grow quicker, and potentially if we were trying to operate nationally, managing staff and things, there's a degree of loyalty and buy-in you get. But if people are running their own business, you can perhaps assume they will just go that extra mile, perhaps. And we're giving other people the opportunity. And I think you'd see all the statistics show that franchises generally succeed more than startups themselves. So we've spent years sort of working on the formula, get the programme up, and people. Hopefully we can help other people benefit from all the lessons we've learned.
And Bethan, what about you? Are you going to stay as you are? Do you want to open another restaurant like that, or do something completely different?
At the moment, I think we'd be looking ahead to increase the amount of evenings that we open, but that'll follow. We want to raise our profile, really, get ourselves into the guidebooks. We have got into 2, but it's just getting a wider audience, drawing people in from further afield. So a lot of focus goes on the food, and we constantly evolve what we create in the kitchen. So it's exciting, and I think to grow and evolve is what we're looking to do.
Well, good luck to you all, Bethan and Gary. Thank you very much. And Ian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.